Hello dear students, welcome to another class of Bangladesh and Global Studies. Dear students, this is the second lecture on Chapter 1 based on section 1.1 and 1.2. Our today's learning outcome will be from formation of Awami League, formation of United Front, declaration of martial law, discussion about Indo-Pak War, the 6-point demands or Charter of Freedom, the Agutila conspiracy case, the mass uprising of 1969, and the National and Provincial Assembly election of 1970. In our previous session, we have discussed about the background, incident and result, and the significance of the Great Language Movement. Let's start our today's topic, the formation of Awami Muslim League. It was formed on 23rd June 1949 in a conference at Rose Garden. In 1955, by omitting the word Muslim, it was renamed as East Pakistan Awami League. President of Awami Muslim League was Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bhashani. General Secretary was Samsul Haq and Joint Secretary was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In that meeting, they decided to place some demands before the government like provincial autonomy, sovereignty of the people, recognition of Bangla as one of the state languages, nationalization of jute and tea industries, abolition of feudal system, distribution of law among the farmers. Next topic is the United Front. In election of 1954, the East Bengal Awami League decided to establish a United Front or Jukto Front on 14th November 1953 in order to defeat the Muslim League in the election of 1954. It was comprised of the alliance of 4 political parties: the Awami League, the Krishok Shromik Party, the Nizami Islam, and the Ganotantri Dal. Symbol of the election was determined boat, and the leader of United Front was Shere Bangla A.K. Fazlul Haq. The 21-point demands of the United Front or Jukto Front in 1954 were: Bangla will be one of the state languages of Pakistan, free and compulsory primary education will be imparted, East Bengal will be properly industrialized, thorough reform of the education system was one of the demands, an introduction of Bangla as the medium of instructions, a Shohid Minar will be erected, and 21st February will be declared as the Martyr Day, and so many others. The United Front election was held on 11th March 1954. Out of 237 seats, United Front won by 223 seats and Muslim League won by 9 seats. Shere Bangla A.K. Fazlul Haq, who was the leader of the Krishok Shromik Party, one of the allies of the Jukto Front or United Front, took oath as the Chief Minister on 3rd April 1954. The Jukto Front remained in power just for 56 days because Pakistan government could not accept the Jukto Front in East Bengal. They started conspiring to topple the government. Ghulam Muhammad, the Governor General of Pakistan, dismissed the Jukto Front government on 30th May 1954. Our next topic is the martial law administration. First martial law administrator was President Iskandar Mirza. Under the military and civilian rulers of West Pakistan, the parliament as well as the government could not play any effective role. In the Provincial Assembly, Deputy Speaker Shahid Ali was seriously injured and subsequently died in a hospital because of a brawl among MLAs on a disputable issue. So, President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law on 7th October 1958 on the pretext of this incident. He assumed the power and took some decisions like he annulled the Constitution of 1956. He also dissolved the central and provincial assemblies. He banned the political activities in East Bengal. Then he arrested Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and other political leaders and sent them to prison. All sorts of fundamental rights were suspended from East Pakistan. President Iskandar Mirza was ousted from power in a military coup on 27th October 1958, and he was forced to leave the country. Then General Ayub Khan, after assuming office as a president of Pakistan, took some decisions like he postponed the general election of 1959. He expressed his commitment to wipe out all sorts of corruption and illegal trafficking of goods from East Bengal. He initiated the so-called basic democracy to linger his autocratic rule. My dear students, you can see a map for showing the distance between East Pakistan and West Pakistan. I have presented the map for you. It was 1200 miles between both of the Pakistan, and discrimination was also huge. Let's take a look about the discriminations between the East and West Pakistan. First of all, discrimination in the economic sector. East Pakistan received 113 crore 3,18,000 taka from the budget allocation in the year of 1955-56 to 1959 to 1960. On the other hand, West Pakistan received 500 crore taka from the budget allocation in the same economic year. Foreign exchange earned through export of tea, jute, hide, which were produced in East Pakistan, but all the foreign exchange earnings were used in the development of the trade and commerce, industry and agriculture of West Pakistan. Discrimination in administrative sector. In the chart, you can easily get the discrimination. Inside of East Pakistan, 19% of the employee was from in the secretariat, 8.1% in defense force, 25.7% in industry, 22.7% in the home, and 20.1% in the information sector. On the other hand, in the secretariat of West Pakistan, 81% were utilized in West Pakistan, in defense 91.9%, in industry it was 74.3%, in home 77.3%, and in information 79.9%. The figures are showing the discrimination between both of the Pakistan. Discrimination in defense sector. Only 5% officers were allotted from East Pakistan. General soldiers were only 4%. High officials in Navy were selected from East Pakistan, only 19%. Only 9% lower officials, 11% pilots, and 1.7% technicians were selected from East Pakistan. On the other hand, 95% officers, 96% general soldiers, 81% high officials in Navy, 91% lower officials, 89% pilots, 98.3% technicians were selected from the West Pakistan. Discrimination in education sector. Whatever educational reformation occurred in East Bengal was done by the British rulers, but no new educational institution was established in East Pakistan during the rule of Pakistani period. But in West Pakistan, many new educational institutions were established, like primary and secondary schools, higher secondary level colleges, etc. Discrimination in social sector. The growth of the middle class in East Pakistan was hindered for the discriminatory policies of East Pakistan. The Bengalis became fragile financially. Disparities increased between both of the regions. People started showing demonstrations and organizing movement. Now we will take a look about the 6-point demands. The 6-point demands are so important in the history of East Bengal that it was also known as the East Bengal's Charter of Freedom. It was declared from 5 to 6 February 1966 in a conference in Lahore. Awami League President Sheikh Mujibur Rahman stated all the 6 points. The topic of demands were parliamentary form of government. In Pakistan, there will be the parliamentary form of government under federal system. The polling will be held under the general electoral system, and adult voters will enfranchise. Second point is full autonomy of the ministries in both defense and foreign affairs. Third point, there should be 2 different convertible types of currency, and in the country, or a single currency might be used on some terms and conditions. Number 4, the state government will preserve the right to impose taxes, and a part of the collected revenue will be deposited to the treasury of the central government. The foreign currency, the states will be the owners of the foreign currency that they will earn, and similarly a portion will be deposited to the treasury of the central government. Last of all, the states will be given the power of forming militia force for their regional security. The 6th point included economic, political, martial and other rights of the people of East Pakistan. The Ayub Resign termed it as a separatist movement. The demands reflected the national spirit of the Bengalis. That's why the 6-point demands are known as the Charter for Liberation. Our next topic is historic Agutila case. The case was filed against Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and other 35 important persons. The date of hearing was 19 June 1968. In a special tribunal at the Dhaka cantonment it was placed. They declared the main defendant as Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, along with 35 persons including some political leaders, civil servants in service and retired army officers, and other civilians. It was under section of 121A and 131 of Pakistan Penal Code. These persons were accused for conspiring to make East Pakistan a sovereign and independent state through armed struggle. But the case was withdrawn as a fierce movement started by the farmers, laborers, students, and general people. Our next topic is mass uprising, which is also called 69 গণ অভ্যুত্থান. It was held in the year of 1969 and it is considered as the most important movement against the Pakistani rulers. By the full participation of the people from all walks of life, all democratic parties, professionals, mass people spontaneously took part in the movement. The basis of the movement was the 6-point and 11-point demands. The leader of the movement was Dakshu VP Tofail Ahmed. Two persons' name can be highlighted as the martyr's name. Asaduzzaman Asad, a student of Dhaka University. Dr. Samsud Joha, he was the professor of Rajshahi University. The mass uprising is one of the most important movement. Bangabandhu and other political detainees were unconditionally released after the fearful movement. Also, the Agutila case was withdrawn. The Pakistani government was forced to declare the election of 1970. The nationalist ideas started and arose Bengali nationalism in the mind of the people. After the mass uprising, our next event is the election of 1970. President Ayub Khan resigned his post on 25th March 1969. Yahya Khan succeeded him as the next dictator. In the statement on 28th March, he promised to hold a general election, but on this there was confusion because previously there was no general election so far. The general election of 1970 was held on 7th December. The Awami League, Nep Wali, the Muslim League, the Pakistan People's Party, Democratic Party, Jamaat-e-Islam took part in the election. The Awami League termed this election as a referendum in favor of 6-point demands. 3 crore and 22 lakh out of 5 crore and 64 lakh voters belonged to East Pakistan. In the Central Parliament election of 1970, Awami League bagged 167 seats out of 169. The Provincial Assembly election was held on 17th December of 1970. Awami League owned 298 seats out of 300. The landslide victory of the Awami League in this election was unprecedented. They got the verdict of the people in favor of 6-point demands and for the formation of a new government. The election of 1970 is one of the most important events. As Awami League achieved landslide victory, they got verdict of the people to form a new government. They transformed the spirit of nationalism to the spirit of freedom. As a result, a new country named Bangladesh emerged. So, my dear students, from today's topic, I am giving you some homeworks to solve. Explain the discrimination between East and West Pakistan. Explain why the 6-point demands are called East Bengal's Charter of Freedom. Discuss about the most important movement against the Pakistani rulers. See you in the next class. Thank you.